Oh, thank you. Thank God. Thank God the Phillies managed to pull that one out. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to TTP Sports. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Miami Marlins in Game 2 of this 60-game season by a score of 7-1. Zack Wheeler's first performance in a Phillies uniform was fantastic. He was great on the mound today. And Phil Gosselin, what a story this guy is going through. A guy that's been bouncing around the league for so many years, from AAA to the major leagues, bouncing through many teams as well, finds his spot with the Phillies last year, comes into summer camp this season, and he is raking right now. He is getting hits. If you go back to the start of summer camp to basically him in the batter's box, I think in summer camp he was 10 for 11 in the batter's box, and now today he goes 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. Phil Gosselin, what a story. And Didi Gregorius hits another shot today. 2 home runs in 2 straight games for Sir Didi. And JT Realmuto opens up the game late in this ball game with a 3-run shot. And credited in the beginning of this ball game, I was being very skeptical because we were seeing a lot of the same stuff from the offense like last night. They couldn't get anything going. They were struggling to get hits, struggling to hit the pitcher. When the pitcher on the mound for the Marlins, Caleb Smith, was struggling himself, he was walking a lot of batters. He was getting himself into jams with the Phillies. They just couldn't do anything with those runners in scoring position majority of the game until late. So, thank God they won this ball game. Thank God the bats decided to wake up at the end of this ball game to get a win, basically. And yes, there's still a lot of things that this team needs to improve on right now. So even before the 7th inning, the 1 through 4 batters in the lineup, the Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, JT, they were going 1 for 23 combined from last night. Last night they were 1 for 24. They were 1 for 23 going before the 7th inning of this ball game, before JT hit that home run. And they need to be better. They need to be much better. And just going through this ball game combined from last night, they're like 3 for 27 after both games. So the 1 through 4 hitters, they need to do something. They need to start getting the bat on the ball. That's what we're paying them to do. We're paying Bryce Harper that money to get some hits. I mean, I like walks. The Phillies walked a lot of times today. But they need to get the bat on the ball, basically. They need to get the bat on the ball. And JT, I love that he got his home run today, but he wasn't good in the beginning of the game. The 4 batters really weren't. Andrew McCutchen, once again, goes 0 for 5. He hasn't got a hit in the first 2 games at all in this series, so he's 0 for 9 to start the season. Rhys Hoskins had a better day at the plate. He had 3 walks, but he does have to start getting the bat on the ball as well. Bryce Harper gets his first hit today, and JT with the home run, that was his first hit of the season. So 3 for 27 to start the season through the 1 through 4 batters. Not good enough, but hopefully with the waking up late in the ball game, maybe that does wake their bats up a little bit. We'll just have to see tomorrow. Because the bottom part of the lineup, it's not going to keep it up. Didi's not going to consistently hit home runs. Phil Gosselin, for as great as a story that he is going through, he is not going to keep that up. I would love for him to keep it up because I like what he is doing right there, and I love how hot his bat is right now. It's just, if you're looking at the stats, and realistically, he is not going to keep that up, but it's nice to see what he is going through right now in the batter's box. So it's just a nice day right there. And just going back to Zack Wheeler, it was very questionable that he was going to start the season with the Philadelphia Phillies because he was having a newborn kid coming up. He just had his baby boy this weekend, and he was very questionable if he was going to play the season just because if he wanted to keep his son safe. But he decided to play the season. He had his baby this weekend, and he pitched fantastic today. If you look at the stat line for Zack Wheeler, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. His fastball, it's nice to see a pitcher on this team that can have that high velocity, that high heater with that 4-seam fastball. It's just nice to see. Aaron Nola, more of that finesse style of pitcher. But the Phillies, even though I guess you can argue Vince Velasquez has the heat and stuff, but Vince Velasquez, he's just more of a dumpster fire right there. And we'll get to Vince Velasquez later because he's starting tomorrow. But going back to Zack Wheeler, it's nice to see someone that can utilize their fastball, that high heat, and can clock up to 96 to 98 miles an hour because the Phillies do need someone like that can do it consistently. And the off-speed for Zack Wheeler today was working very nice as well. He was getting a lot of ground balls today. He was getting a lot of guys to ground out into double plays. The Marlins grounded into 4 double plays today. So he was getting a lot of contact, not good contact at all, and he was getting a lot of ground outs, and that resulted in a very good outing for Zack Wheeler. I think throughout his 7 innings, I think he only had like around 85 to 86 pitches. So that is a really good outing, and I think that's the average they were trying to keep him to. So it's nice that we got a solid 7 innings out of Zack Wheeler. A very good first impression from him. Hopefully he can keep up that consistency, because I feel like out of the entire pitching staff, granted it is only the first game for Zack Wheeler, but I feel like this is just like my gut feeling. I feel like he is going to be the more consistent pitcher from our staff this season. And maybe, who knows, when we call up Spencer Howard in a couple weeks when he comes up into the rotation, maybe that'll change something too. But I feel like Zack Wheeler is going to be the more consistent guy on the mound. Yes, you're going to have Aaron Nola too, but just with the way Aaron Nola has been pitching, he hasn't been bad, but Aaron Nola has been, I would say, less consistent lately. So I feel like, it's not a knock on Aaron Nola either, but I just feel like it's my gut feeling that Zack Wheeler is going to be the more consistent guy going forward. And like I said, it's not a knock on Aaron Nola. That's just the feeling that I have right now. And it's nice to see that Zack Wheeler had the performance that he had today. So it was just a great outing right there. And just going through the ball game, like I said early on, the Phillies had a lot of chances in this ball game to score some runs. In the first inning, they had 2 guys on. They couldn't get anything home. In the second inning, they had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and Bryce Harper struck out on a curveball. It tied him up, but it did land right in the middle of the plate. So they just couldn't do anything in those first 2 innings. And in the first 2 innings, they went 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And throughout the entire ballgame, they were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So that does need to get better, because they were 0 for 3 in last night's ballgame, and they go 1 for 6 today. So that's a total 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Granted, it's the first 2 games, but it does need to get better if the Phillies want to get some wins this season, if they want to be more consistent. It just has to get better. Like I said, a lot of players on this team need to start getting the bat on the ball, specifically the 1 through 4 hitters. And then we go into the second inning. Didi Gregorius hit a bomb to right field to give the Phillies a 1-0 lead. So back-to-back nights with a home run for Didi Gregorius. That was his only hit of the night, but hey, if he's getting home runs like that, just keep it going. He's doing great in the lineup right now. He's doing great in the batter's box. Keep it going right there, Sir Didi. And then the Marlins, they eventually get their run in the top of the 5th inning. They get a couple singles right there. And then Miguel Rojas, he gets a single to score a run to tie the ball game at 1. And then we go into the bottom of the 6th inning. We get 2 outs. Scott Kingery works into a full count, and he gets a walk. And then we get Phil Gosselin, the very next pitch. He shoots it out in the left center field. It gets over the wall. It's a home run for Phil Gosselin. It's his first one since 2018. And we got a 3-1 Phillies lead. And then we go into the bottom of the 7th inning. Rhys Hoskins, he works a walk. Bryce Harper, he lays down a beautiful bunt single down the left field line for his first hit of the season, basically. That's definitely the hit you expect from Bryce Harper for his first hit of the season. It's just like, out of all the things he could have did, a bunt single was his first hit of the season. Hey, I guess he'll take that any day of the week. It was easy. There was no one down the third base line, so just an easy bunt single. Got 2 runners on for JT Realmuto, and he sends an absolute missile to center field off of the brick wall for a 3-run shot, and it is a 6-1 Phillies lead. And then let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Phil Gosselin for his 4th appearance of the night. He is currently 2 for 2 at this point, because he had a walk in the beginning of the game as well. He had a single, and he had that home run. So what does he do in the 8th inning? He sent a shot to right center field, and it gets over the wall for his 2nd of the game. So he goes 3 for 3 on the night, his 2nd home run of the game, and just like what I said, it's an amazing story to see what Phil Gosselin is doing right now. It's completely amazing. And hopefully he keeps that up, because Joe Girardi today with the lineup, he took Jay Bruce out of that DH spot, put Phil Gosselin in, put Gene Segura into the 5th spot today. So he kind of shaped up the lineup a little bit. It worked for that right now. So maybe he decides to keep Phil Gosselin in with his hot bat. Maybe he puts Jay Bruce when there's a righty on the mound, put Phil Gosselin when there's a lefty on the mound. But hey, with the way Phil Gosselin is swinging the bat since summer camp and going into this first game, I keep him in there for a little bit. Because like I said, he is swinging a hot bat. And when someone's doing that, you keep them in the lineup. So hopefully Joe Girardi sees that and maybe he gives Phil Gosselin some more at-bats in the next few games. It'll be nice to see what Phil Gosselin can do. And then we go into the bullpen for the 8th and 9th inning. We bring in Hunter, then Guerrero for the 9th. They both did their job. Had a solid outing coming out of the bullpen, and the Phillies win this game by a score of 7-1. Just a much better ball game overall. The beginning of the game was a little sloppy just because we had so many chances to get some runs and runners in scoring position, and we just couldn't get those hits. We were getting a lot of walks, just couldn't drive those runs home. But then the bats started to wake up with Phil Gosselin later in the ball game. Then JT just breaking the ball game open with that 3-1 bomb. So it's really good to see the bats. They started to wake up later in the ball game. So hopefully with them waking up later in this ball game, it wakes them up for a little bit. It starts to, hey, we gotta get some base hits here. We gotta start making contact because walking is nice. Like I said, Rhys Hoskins had 3 walks today, but you gotta start making contact. And we go through the lineup right now. Andrew McCutchen, like I said, he was over 5 with a strikeout. Rhys Hoskins over 2 with those 3 walks. Bryce Harper was 1 for 2 with those 2 walks. JT 1 for 4 with the home run. Gene Segura was 1 for 3 with a walk. Didi was 1 for 4 with a home run. Scott Kingery over 2. He had a decent day at the plate. He had 2 walks. Phil Gosselin 3 for 3 with those 2 home runs. And then Roman Quinn at the bottom of the lineup went over 4. There was a point where he had a bunt. He tried to lay down a bunt and it almost cost the Phillies, but it really do anything right there. Roman Quinn, I like what he can provide because his speed is just so game-changing. He just needs to find a way to get better in the batter's box, because when I look at Roman Quinn right now, Ricky Patalico did bring up a really interesting point from last night's game too, that it looks like Roman Quinn is trying to, I guess, swing through the ball too hard. It's like they're saying something about like he's trying to do too much with his swing. Maybe he has to shorten up a little bit, just like don't try too hard to take it out of the ballpark. You'll get lucky eventually with playing in Citizens Bank Park. You're going to get those lucky home runs, but he shouldn't be swinging too hard to swing for the fences. So he has to maybe like shorten his swing up, just try to make contact with the ball, get the ball in play, and utilize your speed, because his speed is absolutely game-changing. So that's your ball game today for the Philadelphia Phillies. Zack Wheeler, like I said, he had a phenomenal ball game. Hopefully he can keep up that consistency. And then we're going to have an afternoon ball game tomorrow on Sunday. Vince Velasquez is on the mound. And I'm very surprised that Vince Velasquez is taking the 3rd spot in the rotation. Maybe Joe Girardi is putting some confidence in Vinny V. As we see Jake Arrieta, he's going to be in the 4th spot, and Zach Eflin earns that 5th spot in the rotation. So I'm assuming that puts Nick Pivetta either in the bullpen, and I'm not sure where Nick Pivetta is because I haven't seen him. So it's at least his ninth. He's not in the rotation because I don't like Nick Pivetta. So hey, it's showing signs. Joe Girardi is showing some confidence in Vinny V. Hopefully he can take that confidence to the task against the Marlins once again tomorrow. And hopefully the Phillies can grab a win and win this first series of the season, because they need to win tomorrow. Like I said, a lot of these games are very important. And specifically with the 16-team playoff format, yes, it does take, I would guess, the pressure off the Phillies a little bit, but I do believe it does make every game much more important, just because you do have a better chance at making the playoffs if you land that 2nd spot, if you can land that wild card. It's going to be difficult for the Phillies because with the pitching that they have this season, with the bottom of the rotation and the bullpen, it's not that deep. You have a lot of no-name guys in that bullpen, specifically in the front of it. So it's going to be a very tough season pitching-wise, but if the Phillies can find a way to get hot, specifically if this lineup starts to get more consistent, they can start winning ball games with this lineup. It's like I said at the beginning, they just need to start making more contact. We need to start getting consistent hits and stop with the over 5s, the over 4s. Start getting some 1 for 3s, 2 for 4s, and stuff like that. Just start making more contact with the ball and start putting the ball in play. I think that's what's going to help this lineup a lot more. And hey, let's try to get a win tomorrow against the Miami Marlins. Win this series. Get a little bit of a hot streak going on right here. So, what are your thoughts from this ball game? What are your thoughts from Zack Wheeler's first performance in a Phillies uniform? What are your thoughts on Phil Gosselin's story right now? Because it is absolutely amazing. Didi Gregorius hitting another home run. So, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.